what was one of the main things you wanted to bring up to the forefront here?
Options. Working with a couple other sheriffs in East Texas, this isn't a Rusk County problem. This is a statewide problem. Sheriff Webb up in Upshur County had a fantastic idea on how to tackle the problem. And he was a little bit more fortunate than us because he had a retired pet grooming place that was open and available that they worked out an agreement with. We won't be that lucky, but you have to come up with a plan, with a strategy for more than one option to see which one works the best. What I saw today was a commissioner's court that was full of people, not just rescue people, but pet owners, homeowners, stakeholders in the county, if you will, that says enough is enough. So what I wanted to do is turn around and tell them, put some skin in the game other than just today. Don't just show up. You need to help come up with a plan. I give you two options. Now we're going to sit down as a community with our police chiefs in the rural areas, the commissioner's court, however many of them can be on there legally, and the rescue people, and also, our taxpayers, to come up with something that is, if we need to raise taxes, there were more, everybody in that room was nodding their head yes, and they would be for raising taxes to build an animal nuisance facility to make sure that the people of this county are safe from feral dogs, these packs of dogs that are running loose throughout the county, not just in Overton or New London, but all across this county. Somebody's been hurt several times. Then there's been several people that have been hurt only once, but it was still so bad that I'm tired of telling people and having dispatchers tell people when they call about a loose dog, there's nothing we can do because we have nowhere to put them. We can't use that excuse anymore. People are getting hurt. Livestock are getting killed. Pets are getting killed. There was one lady in there was talking about she lost every one of her chickens and ducks because of these dogs. This has to stop. And some of the ways that it's going to happen, some people may not like. But something has to stop. We have to start somewhere to make this problem start to diminish. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be a 2-year deal. This is going to be however long it took to get to where we are today. I'm hoping it'll only be half the time to get this problem resolved. So I've been here 5 years, and it's been progressively worse for 5 years. So I'm hoping within 2 years, 2.5 years, we can see some noticeable improvement out in the county, because public safety is my priority in this county, whether it be people crimes or this dog problem.
Yeah. Speaking about the proposed facility for a second, and with the costs associated and whatnot.
Well, it depends on the size of the shelter.
Yeah, for a medium-sized
Yes,
shelter.
for a medium-sized shelter, which was about 200 animals. So obviously, if it's smaller than that, then the cost of that per month is much reduced. But you can't factor in costs that are medically related, because if we pick up a dog and they have mange, we pick up some puppies that have parvo. Those are very cost prohibitive things for pet owners, much less for a shelter, multiplied times however many. So this is a situation where we can give them ballpark numbers, but we can't give them ironclad numbers. Once the facility is built or a facility is refurbished for this facility, then we'll start talking about the budgetary items. How much is it going to cost yearly to run this facility? With some padding to make sure that medical costs are as low as possible. Get with our local vets and see if they would be willing to help us with this. There's going to be a lot of hands in this, not just me.
So one of the interesting things about the facility, it was almost, I think it was said, it's almost like a criminal record for dogs, almost in that way. So it's like they have to have an incident reported against them, for something to happen, I guess.
Yes, and the majority of them will have criminal cases attached to them, whether it's they attacked livestock or they attacked a human. Now, the feral dogs those will be treated as strays. And you have a certain amount of time, we'll post the picture on social media platforms. If somebody says, hey, that's my dog, then they can come pick it up for a fee. And then we'll start working on, and we haven't even thought about how are we going to, if we relinquish a dog back to an owner, what requirements are we going to place on them, other than what's legally, the rabies vaccinations, or can we require microchipping? Can we require spay or neuter? So those are things that are going to come out of this committee meetings, hopefully within the next, not just the next meeting, but in months to come, because come budget time, we're going to have hard numbers that Commissioners Court are going to have to look at and make a decision.
Right, yeah. And so obviously that's a proposed item. Is a more realistic item discussing some of like the temporary holding pens where you would keep them for like?
No, and I'll tell you why. When I first got here, we started looking at different programs to deal with this because we had nowhere to take these dogs. So I worked with Rusk County Pets Alive and the Billy Moore unit, and we created the Second Chance Initiative, which took dogs from the Henderson Animal Shelter to the penitentiary, one dog for 2 inmates, and they would teach the dog basic obedience, making sure that they're housebroken, and then they would adopt them out. Well, it's working, but I don't know how many dogs to date they've done. I'd be willing to bet 40 to 60. But there's still an 8-month waiting period to get into that shelter if you want to surrender your dog. We cannot wait that long. We're past that point.
Right.
So this is why we were here today.
Just a committee, at least, to meet back up in a month. Was it optimistic that seeing so many people passionate about it to kind of relieve the stress off of your shoulder, off of neighboring police chiefs' shoulders, cities?
It's not really necessarily the stress part of it. It's reaching out to the community with the problem that they already knew we had, and not just complaining about it, but the amount of people that got up after that meeting, went over to the tab that I laid on that table, the amount of people that were signing their names and email addresses and phone numbers, that's, for us, was the most rewarding part about this.
There is the Henderson Animal Shelter, and technically the county does have an agreement, but it's full, correct?
Correct.
Yes, and so it's just like you can't even do anything with it.
I have not taken one dog to the shelter since I've been here. Social media's been able to push out some of the videos that you've seen and several other people have seen, but we have no way of knowing how many there are.
Right.
I mean, this is a rural county. I actually figured during this last freeze, because we were out for so long and we went for days without a day off, that we would run across some of them, but as far as I know, we didn't, but they were probably hunkered down because of the weather.
Yeah, that's right. Well, anyways, is there anything else I'm not touching on that you think is important to say?
No, just thankful that we finally got it out and open, not just with Commissioners Court, but as a community, and hopefully, like I told them in there, I don't just need your participation at the next meeting. I need it for the next year. Yeah. Until we can get this off the ground and running like it needs to be running, and then everybody can kind of relax a little bit and see this is what you helped build. This is what you did to make Rusk County a safer place to live.